Every Idaho farmer expects to have a few big game animals feeding in their pastures from time to time. But to have 1,000 elk spending the winter on your farm is a bit extreme. That's what happened to 3 landowners who farm just north of Interstate 84 in Bliss.
We need to get to a manageable number of animals.
The elk are really nice to look at. 20 or 30 head of bulls that walk through is kind of cool. They're neat to look at, but when we have 300, 500, 600 head of elk, when they're walking through, when they're grazing, whatever residual feed that we had, they've helped themselves. But now we're feeding hay.
Dennis runs a cow-calf operation with her husband, John. They prefer not to feed hay to their cattle herd in the winter, but the elk were eating their wheat stubble. There's a strip of sagebrush habitat on BLM land next to the freeway. The elk cruise back and forth between public and private land.
They're a little hard on fences. The bulls take their own path and they follow their own trails. The cows and this massive amount of animals, they just kind of go wherever they want to.
Officials with the Idaho Department of Fish and Game are perplexed as to why there's so many elk in the farmers' fields.
This is a phenomenon that kind of really started 4 or 5 years ago. We started to see large groups of elk taking up residence on private property on the very lower reaches of Bennett Mountain, the Bennett Front. And this year, for whatever reason, it kind of hit its climax. They arrived in somewhere around Christmas, and they arrived in numbers, upwards of 1,000 elk in one herd. Those elk stayed. They did not leave.
At a bigger picture level, Idaho's rangelands and ranchers play a critical component to all the life cycles of wildlife in Idaho. Figuring out how to manage that is an ongoing challenge for Idaho Fish and Game and landowners. The lower Bennett Hills are winter range for elk and deer. The animals migrate south from the Soldier Mountains, the South Fork Boise River area, and the west side of the Wood River Valley. Some live in the Bennett Mountains year-round. That wildlife migration corridor lies inside the Smoky Boise Complex Priority Area designated by the Idaho Fish and Game. It's one of 5 priority areas statewide. It contains about 40,000 mule deer, the state's largest mule deer population, thousands of elk, and a growing antelope population. It includes extensive big game winter range and migration habitat linking winter and summer ranges. The whole migration corridor in the Bennett Hills contains primo wildlife habitat, stringers of aspen trees, hiding cover in timbered areas, and access to water. According to the latest State of the Rockies conservation poll of 400 Idahoans by Colorado College, wildlife migration corridors are an item of keen public interest. 75% think more emphasis should be placed on conserving wildlife migration routes, and 89% support the construction of wildlife crossings on highways. Idaho Fish and Game is working with the Idaho Transportation Department to create an overpass or underpass on US 20 near Hill City due to a high number of animals crossing there. Idaho sportsmen have a strong interest in the fate of mule deer and elk in Bennett Hills because it's known for producing trophy animals. For example, about 2,700 hunters applied for 75 any weapon buck deer tags in Unit 45 last year. Only 3% drew a tag. To facilitate mule deer and elk migration from the soldiers to the Bennett Hills in the winter, Idaho Fish and Game has been working to secure conservation easements with landowners in the Hill City area to keep working lands working and open space intact. Chad Helmick and his family manage a 4,000-acre family cattle ranch in Hill City, right in the middle of that migration corridor. This is their summer range. 2 years ago, the Helmick family inked a conservation easement with Idaho Fish and Game to preserve the open space and wildlife habitat on their Hill City ranch.
And this is one of the major migration corridors for mule deer in Idaho, right through the middle of this place. The elk live here for most of the summer. There's sage grouse and lions, and we actually had wolf tracks right here at the cabin this year. Deer and antelope. We've never seen a moose here, but I'm sure they've been through here. I've found bear tracks, and I mean just anything you name. Grouse, all kinds of birds, chuckers, huns. It's pretty diverse wildlife here.
The Helmick family carefully manages their summer range so it benefits cattle and wildlife.
This ground is basically a bank account for us. You know, if we treat it good, it's going to treat us good, and it benefits everything that way.
While Fish and Game seeks to improve safety for wildlife at highway crossings and conserve habitat in the northern part of the wildlife migration corridor, solutions are more elusive in the Bennett Hills winter range to the south.
We don't have a lot of strategies to deal with 1,000 elk. So we made an agreement with the producer to just leave the elk where they were, with the idea that we would compensate for whatever damages occurred in the spring. So that's kind of where we sit right now.
Neither McDonald nor the farmers think wolves are pushing the elk into their fields, which has occurred elsewhere. In recent months, Helmick and neighboring farmers have been meeting with Idaho Fish and Game to discuss long-term solutions.
Mostly what came out of last winter was there is a problem and we need to do something about it.
Solutions might include a new population survey in 2026 and 27 to confirm wintering elk numbers in the Bennett Hills. The Helmicks allow limited big game hunting on their Hill City Ranch and Bliss Ranch to help prune the elk and deer populations. In 2019 and 2020, Idaho Fish and Game issued a large number of cow tags in Unit 45 and thinned out the wintering elk herd by 30%.
We took some fairly aggressive action in 2019 to reduce overall elk numbers, and it worked. Kind of been a maintenance pattern since then. And this isn't a habitat issue, right? Ungulates have a behavior, they experience a behavioral shift in the winter. What's really important for deer and elk is the body fat they accumulate during the summer months. And that's essentially what they live on through the winter. What they're really looking for are places where they can just go be left alone.
North of the Bliss Farms, bird hunters chase chuckers in January, and antler hunters and ATV riders recreate in the Bennett Hills in February and March. Could these activities be pushing elk onto private lands below?
That's the million-dollar question right now. We do know that the Bennett Front is a very popular place to recreate. Whether you're a UTV user, someone that just likes to go out and be outdoors, look at wildlife, whether it's shed hunters or whether it's bird hunters. Bennett Front is a very popular place because it typically affords pretty easy access.
Last winter, people walked onto private lands on foot in hope of getting a close-up photo of the elk.
The picture takers, you got the people in the cars, and you got people in side-by-sides, and you got people that walk, and it seems like there's more and more people that don't abide by, we try and be adequate on posting our property and stuff, but there's more and more people that think just walking and taking pictures is no problem for trespassing.
He notes that people need to follow the mantra of ask first before stepping onto private land.
I caught a guy trespassing the other day, and he walked in, and unaware to him, he was on the upwind side of about 300 elk, and as soon as he winded them, they went running through 3 fences of mine, and it took me 3 hours to fix a fence just so my cows would stay. So his 5-minute picture taking cost me 3 hours. If they would have came and asked my permission, I would have told them they could have went this way so they didn't cause that problem.
It's also important to respect private property that's posted "No Trespassing." Meanwhile, Helmick and his fellow farmers are hoping that fewer elk return to their Bliss farms this winter.
1,000 elk plus that came in on that deal, and I hope we don't see that again.